Righto. We live in the most advanced time in human history that we know of. There's questionably a lost ancient civilization that was highly advanced. But anyway, we'll leave that for another day. We live in a time where we have more technology, more comfort, more convenience than ever before. You can order food to your door. You can work from your phone. You can talk to anyone, anywhere, instantly. So why are people more anxious, more unstable, and less in control than ever? I don't think we've actually moved forward. I think we've actually gone backwards. And it comes down to something that most people have heard of and then kind of forgot about it. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a TED talk about Maslow's, but here's a simple version. Maslow basically said humans have different levels of needs, and you can't focus on the higher ones until the lower ones are sorted. So think of it like a pyramid, right? At the bottom, you've got your basic needs: food, sleep, water, your body working properly and functioning as it's meant to. Then above that, on the second level, we've got safety, stability, routine, right? Feeling like your life isn't constantly about to fall apart. From there, we go to the level of connection, right? Connection with people, belonging to something bigger than just yourself, and relationships. Then we move into self-worth, confidence, achievement, feeling like you're actually doing something with your life. And at the very top of this pyramid, right, we have purpose, meaning, growth, becoming your best self. Ugh, I shouldn't have said it like that. Anyway, here's what I reckon the problem is. We've built a world that looks like it supports the top of that pyramid. But I think we've completely lost the bottom of it. So let's start there. The stuff that's supposed to be the easiest. The basic fundamentals that we need: food, sleep, movement, water. We've never had more access to food. Then why is nutrition worse? We've never had more ways to rest, but sleep is harder than ever. You've never had access to more knowledge about health, but we hardly move. Think about it. People are going to bed scrolling their phones, waking up tired, living on caffeine, eating whatever's quick, and wondering why they feel a bit shit. Mate, that's not a mindset problem. That's a fundamental, basic level of the pyramid problem. You can't feel good if your body isn't being looked after. And a lot of people are trying to fix their life. That's why you've got such a massive industry around gyms and self-improvement. But they're not fixing those basic fundamental needs first. So we step up to the second layer of the pyramid. Safety. I'm not talking about being chased by a tiger necessarily. I'm talking about psychological safety, spiritual safety, your emotional safety, as well as your physical safety. But you need those things to feel stable, to feel secure, to feel like your life isn't constantly under some sort of threat. Unfortunately, here's the reality, I think. A lot of people don't feel that anymore. They've got financial stress, job instability, cost of living pressure, constant bad news, and endless information being thrown at you. And yes, I'm contributing to that, but too bad. If you don't like it, see ya. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real physical threat and constant low-level stress. So even if you're sitting on the couch, right, your brain can feel like it's under attack all day. And then we wonder, why are people getting anxious? Why can't they switch off? Why are so many people feeling overwhelmed? It's because that safety layer is nowhere near as solid as we think it is. Resilience is a word that gets thrown around heaps. I've heard boomers say, young people just need to be more resilient, more times than I can be bothered figuring out. I'm not sure that a lack of resilience is the problem. I'm starting to think more and more that we're expected to be too resilient all the time, non-stop pressure, right? Achieve this, do that. It's this constant focus on outcomes, right? Right from when we begin school, it's all outcomes focused. When things don't work, push harder. We need the outcome. Rather than, I think what a better way to look at it is an output focus. So how are you going about doing this thing, not what are you achieving? There's a lot less need for resilience when we're celebrating how someone goes about what they're doing, their attitude, their approach, right? Rather than pass or fail, 0 to 100%, A, B, C, D, E, F. I think we've got that all wrong. After safety, we want connection. And this is where it gets really uncomfortable because technically we're more connected than ever. I mean, you might be sitting in a car or laying in bed listening to the sweet tones of my voice. It feels like we could be connected. Right? We've got social media, messaging, group chats, endless ways to stay in touch. But real connection? That's absolutely gone backwards. People have hundreds of quote-unquote friends, but no one they can actually talk to. We've replaced real conversations with comments and reactions. We've replaced time together with scrolling next to each other. And you just can't replace real human connection. I don't care how good your AI is and your ability to create robots, it's not human connection. And when that layer is weak, everything above it starts to wobble. Then we move on to self-worth. And unfortunately, we're in a culture now where self-worth is outsourced. This is where things start to get so messy because instead of building confidence internally, we've outsourced it. Likes, views, followers, validation from other people, all based upon outcomes too. People are constantly comparing themselves to curated versions of other people's lives and then wondering why they feel like they're behind or not good enough or failing. Your self-worth was never supposed to come from a screen. It was supposed to come from doing hard things, building skills, and earning confidence over time. It's a long game. It's not instant gratification. But that's exactly what we've replaced it with. And it's really unstable. And now we get to the top of this hypothetical pyramid. Purpose. This is what everyone's chasing. Find your purpose. Live your best life. Become your highest self. And look, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But there are a few issues. People are trying to find purpose while they're tired, stressed, isolated, disconnected, and unsure about their life. That's completely backwards. You don't build a meaningful life on top of shit tons of chaos. You don't figure out your purpose when your foundation is stable. You don't put a roof on a house that doesn't have walls. It doesn't work like that. And this is the part that people don't want to hear. I don't think we've evolved past Maslow's hierarchy of needs into some sort of super society, super race. I think we've just skipped a few steps and hoped for the absolute best. And instead, we've built a world that promotes success, purpose, hustle, growth, but completely ignores sleep, stability, and connection. Do more, get more outcomes, achieve more, get more money, consumerism, right? That's what's wrong. And we're expected, in order to achieve that, to work harder, do more, sleep less. But all we're doing is holding everything up. So what happens? People feel stuck. People feel lost. They feel completely burnt out. And they don't know why. Because on paper, their life should be working. They've got a good paying job. You know, they've got heaps of people sending them messages on Facebook on their birthday. They feel like they've got this purpose. But is it a real purpose, or is it a purpose that's been fabricated and sold to you by a culture of excess? What do we do with all this? Because this isn't just about understanding it. We got to do something. The world, for a lot of people, feels like it's falling apart at the moment. There's so much shit going on, and we carry all that in our day-to-day lives because we consume it. We consume media of all these horrific things happening around the world. And yes, it's awful and it's horrific, but it has an impact on us when we're already feeling disconnected and lost. There's no easy answer. There's no easy fix. However, the answer that is there isn't that complicated. It's just not something that people want to hear. If your life feels like shit, don't go searching for purpose. Go back to the bottom. Fix your sleep. Get your routine consistent. Reduce the chaos in your day. Eat properly. Move around a bit more. And then begin building real connections. And I'm not just talking about online, actual people. Then start working on confidence. Doing things that actually build you up. And it's only at this point that you should even start thinking about what is my purpose. Because by this point, you've put in the groundwork. You've actually got something stable to build the life that you want on. Everyone wants the top of the pyramid. But most people need to go back to the bottom. We haven't gone forward. We've just made it look like we have. And if something feels off in your life, there's a good chance you're not broken. You've just skipped a few steps. Because that's what our current culture encourages. I hope you got something from this. If you didn't, sorry. I wish I could give you 10 minutes back. If you did, it would mean heaps if you could like and share and follow along for more of my ramblings and musings. Good on you.